Good afternoon, everyone. I am from the group 6, and we will be discussing about the genetically modified organisms, or GMO, under the science, health, and politics. For our objectives, explain foundations, define biotechnology, and identify the different types of genetic modification. Second, analyze application. Describe the use and benefits of GMOs in food, agriculture, and industry. Last is to evaluate the impact. Assess the potential risk and long-term effects of GMOs on human health and the environment. So first, what is biotechnology? Biotechnology is the use of living systems, organisms, or their components to develop products, improve plants or animals, or modify microorganisms for specific industrial, medical, or agricultural purposes. So basically, from the root word itself, bio, which means life, and technology is the processes or the systems in which they would alter microorganisms or living creatures in order for them to use it for specific purposes. It merges biological sciences with technology to create solutions like genetically modified crops, biofuels, and life-saving medicines. It ranges from traditional ancient techniques like brewing and baking to modern genetic engineering. Biotechnology is commonly classified using a color-coded system that differentiates various fields based on their specific applications and research focuses. And they call it the rainbow of biotechnology. The most widely recognized classification uses 10 primary colors to represent distinct sectors. First, we have the red, which would also indicate the medical focus. It focuses on healthcare and medicine, including the development of vaccines, antibiotics, regenerative therapies like stem cells, and personalized medicine tailored to an individual's genetic makeup. So for red, it is for the medical aspect, it is represented by the red color, and from the word itself, medical, it focuses mostly on healthcare or in medicines. Next, you have the agricultural, which is represented by the color green. It is dedicated to agricultural processes such as creating genetically modified GM crops like the BT corn that are resistant to pests or extreme weather, and developing biofertilizers to reduce chemical use. So, in modern times, they engineered the genetic makeup of some of the crops in order for them to be more resistant or for them to develop resistance towards pests or in extreme weather changes. Next, we have the industrial, which is represented by white. It is applied to industrial manufacturing to make processes more efficient and sustainable. Example including using enzymes to create biofuels, biodegradable plastics, and eco-friendly detergent. So the industrial aspect is of course represented by the color white, and it mainly focuses on the sustainability and the efficiency of the industry. Next, we have the marine, which is also represented by the color blue. Exploits marine and aquatic resources to develop new products like aquaculture technologies, cosmetic, and pharmaceutical derived from seaweeds, or microalgae. Now, they the biotechnology, of course, genetically engineered some of the aquatic resources or the marine resources like the seaweed and the algae in order for them to produce products such as cosmetics or other medicines. Next, we have the food or insect. It is represented by the color yellow. primarily relates to food production, such as fermentation for cheese, wine, and beer. It also covers insect biotechnology, which researches genes in insect for medical or agricultural use. Now, in yellow, or in the food aspect of the food classification, it relates to the fermentation, to the using of insects in order to ferment some of the products. And one of the examples there are those what they call the red bugs, in which they genetically modified it in order for them, or in order for the production to of course produce the color red, and most of them use it in as the natural food coloring of some foods. Next, we have the environmental, which is represented by the color gray, aimed at environmental protection and biodiversity conservation. It uses bioremediation, employing microorganisms to clean up oil spills or remove heavy metals from soil. Now in modern times, they use they use biotechnology in order for them to of course use microorganisms to clean up oil spills in the oceans, or of course remove any harmful chemicals or metals from the soil. Next, we have the brown, which represents arid land or animals. It focuses on managing arid and desert lands by engineering crops that can survive severe drought. In some regions, it is also used to refer veterinary biotechnology. Now, they use biotechnology in order for some of the plants or animals to thrive in severe drought or in severe dryness of land. Next, we have the gold, which represents bioinformatics. It integrates computer science and biology to analyze and organize massive biological dataset such as DNA sequence and protein structures. So from the word itself, which means bioinformatics, it usually focuses on the genetic engineering of DNA sequences or protein structures. Next, violet, or legal or ethical, deals with legal, ethical, and philosophical aspects of the field, including patenting inventions, biosecurity, and the moral implications of human genome editing. Next, we have the dark, which means the biosecurity, associated with bioterrorism and the development of biological weapons. Research here often focuses on investigating pathogenic microorganisms to create countermeasures against malicious use. Now, some of the following here is, now these are the classifications of the biotechnology. We have the red biotechnology, which also meant healthcare, the green biotechnology, which is agriculture, white biotechnology, which means industry, blue biotechnology, which means marine, gray biotechnology, which means environment, yellow biotechnology for food, golden biotechnology for bioinformatics, brown biotechnology for arid zones, black biotechnology, biosafety, and violet biotechnology for ethics and law. So that would be all for the genetically modified organisms, the biotechnology, and the classifications or different types of biotechnology.
So, good day everyone. I am Marlyn Cañedo, and this is the continuation about the topic GMOs, and today I will discuss the GMOs and non-food crop organism and the food and agricultural industry. So first, what is GMO? GMO is a genetically modified organism. It is animals, plant, or microorganism whose genetic materials, or DNA, has been altered using technology. Typically, genetic engineering in a way does not occur naturally through mapping or natural recombination. So, in short, GMO is a living things, like for example plants, animals, or microorganisms. And also that scientists have changed using science to make it better or more useful. And also, GMO is helping people, food production, and our environment. Second, GMO and agricultural industries. So, agricultural industries is essential to the food and agricultural sectors. These are plants, animals, or microbes whose DNA has been precisely edited by genetic engineering to add desirable traits or improve current ones. So, some of the examples of food industries. First is bread and bakery products, canned foods and fruit juice, and also soft drinks. And the examples of agricultural industry is corn, soybeans, and rice, and also vegetable farming. Because they don't need to spray too many pesticides, same as soybeans, rice, and vegetables farming. GMO in agricultural helps farmers grow stronger, healthier, and more product crops. They make farmers easier, reduce problems, and help provide more foods. Crops like BT cotton, glyphosate resistance, soybeans, and bioenergy, switchgrass, boost yield, resist pests, and produce biofuel and aid soil. And the example of non-food crops and microorganisms first is BT cotton. So BT cotton is a fighter for the insects, and switchgrass is biofuel, which is a cleaner type of energy. And in short, of GMO non-food crops and microorganisms is help people by making medicine, energy, and cleaning the environment. They are very important even though we do not eat them.
So good day everyone. Today I am going to report about genetically modified organism, commonly known as GMOs. GMOs refers to plants, animals, or microorganisms whose genetic material has been changed using genetic engineering technology. In simple words, scientists adjust or modify the genes of an organism to improve its characteristics. So, the main goal of GMOs is to make crops stronger, healthier, and more productive. They are designed to solve problems such as hunger, malnutrition, and also climate change, and even medical needs. Now, let me explain the key benefits of GMOs. First, increase crop yield and efficiency. GMOs boost yields by incorporating genes for faster growth, better nutrient uptake, and protection against pests, allowing more food production in sustained land. This efficiency stems from targeted genetic tweaks that minimize costs. Sa pananglitan sa ordinary corn, makahatag raw 100 sacks sa usa ka hektar. Pero ang GMO corn kay mas lig-on protektado sa mga pesticides, so that mao nga pwede maka-harvest ang mga tao og 130 to 140 sacks sa same land lang na. Mas daghan pagkaon bisan dili magdugang og yuta. So now, the second one is improved nutritional content. We have engineered GMOs like golden rice and vitamins or enhanced proteins, addressing nutrient deficiencies in staple foods. These modifications insert beneficial genes to increase essential nutrients without altering taste or yield. So for example, golden rice, nasa vitamin A, daghang bata kulang ani nga mga vitamin nga mahimong hinungdan sa pagkabuta. Kung mukaon sila golden rice, adlaw-adlaw makuha nila ang vitamin A naturally o dili mausaman ang lasa sa rice. So we have third one, reduce use of pesticides. BT GMOs produce natural toxins from soil bacteria that kill pests, cutting the need for chemical sprays by up to 37%. This reduces application frequency while protecting crops effectively. So, for example, BT corn makaproduce o protein nga mapatay sa mga insekto kung mukaon sa dahon. Sa normal nga tanong, magsigi ang farmer og spray sa mga pesticides kada semana. Sa BT corn, dili na kinahanglan permi mag-spray, mas tipid ug mas safe sa environment. Next, we have number 4, drought and climate resistance. Genes from drought-tolerant plants are added to make GMOs withstand water scarcity and extreme weather, maintaining yields in harsh conditions. These adaptations help stabilize food production amid climate change. So, this is for example, drought-resistant corn kaya mabuhi bisan walay ulan sulod sa duha o tulo ka semana. Bisan init kaayo makaproduce gihapon og ani ang farmer o dili masiro ang harvest tungod sa climate change. Next, number 5 is longer shelf life. GMOs like the flower suffer tomato delay ripening through engineered enzymes, extending freshness, shortening transport and storage. This cuts food waste and improves market reach. So, dugay mahinog o dugay madaot. Kung ipadala gikan probinsya padulong sa city, dili dayon malata ang kamatis. For example, kamatis. So, mas gamay food o food waste o mas daghang baligya. So now, let's proceed to number 6, which is medical advancements. GM microorganisms produce insulin and vaccines affordably, while biofortifying crops deliver medicines via food. Genetic engineering enables prices scalable pharmaceutical output. Or, for example, homulin or insulin gihimo gamit genetically modified kuno ang bacteria, so mas dali, mas barato ug mas safe para sa mga diabetic patients kaysa sa traditional nga insulin gikan sa hayop. Next, we have also environmental sustainability. GMOs promote also no-till farming, reduce pesticides runoff, and lower emissions by needing less land and fuel for equivalent yields. To support greener practices offer, also meaning mas taas ang ani sa gamay nga yuta. Dili na kinahanglan magputol og daghang kahoy, mas gamay sab ang chemical runoff sa tubig ug soil. Makatabang usab sa pagprotect sa kalibutan. So, let's proceed to number 8. We have economic benefits. Higher yields and lower inputs cost examples pesticides increases farmer profits by 6 to 8% on average, especially in developing regions. This affordability boosts global food security. Okay, so kung mas daghan ani o mas gamay gasto sa pesticides, mas dako ang kita sa farmer. Kung daghan ang farmer ang moasenso, mas stable ang supply sa pagkaon sa country. So now we have the last one is enhanced resistance to weeds. Herbicides tolerant GMO survive targeted bed killers like glyphosate, simplifying control without harming crops. This efficiency preserves yields and reduces labor. So meaning, herbicides tolerant, soybean safe, bisan sprayhan o weed killer. Kay tungod, ang sagbot ra ang mamatay, pero buhi gihapon ang tanom. Mas sayon kontrolon ang farm o mas tipid sa labor. all the types of on benefits of GMOs. Once again, my name is Danirose Pesanon.
Now, let's go on to the potential risk of genetically modified organisms or GMOs. Let's tackle first the potential environmental risk caused by the GMOs. First is the gene transfer to wild relatives. GM crops can breed with wild plants and pass on modified genes. This may create hard to control weeds and disturb natural ecosystem. Some genetically modified crops can cross pollinate with wild plants growing nearby. When this happens, the modified genes like resistance to herbicides can spread to wild species. If wild plants gain these traits, they may become harder to control, creating superweeds. This can disturb the natural balance of plant life that area and make farming more difficult. Next is loss of biodiversity. Planting mostly genetically modified crops can reduce the number of traditional plant varieties. Less diversity makes crops more vulnerable to diseases and climate changes. When farmers plant mostly one type of genetically modified crop, traditional or local varieties may no longer be grown. This reduces genetic diversity, meaning crops become more similar to each other. If a new disease, pest, or climate problem occurs, these similar crops may all be affected at the same time, leading to large crop losses. Resistant pests and weeds. Pests and weeds can become resistant to GM trait over time. This may lead to stronger superpests and increased pesticide use. Some GM crops are designed to kill insects or survive herbicides. However, pests and weeds can slowly adapt over time, just like bacteria can become resistant to antibiotics. Insects and weeds can become resistant to GM traits. When this happens, farmers may need to use stronger chemicals which can increase environmental damage. Next is ecosystem disruption. GM crops can change food chains and affect how species interact. This may disturb the balance of the ecosystem. In nature, all living things are connected in the food chain. If GM crops reduce certain insects or plants, animals that depend on them for food may also be affected. This can create a chain reaction that changes the balance of the ecosystem, when small changes can have long-term effect on biodiversity. Next, impact on non-target organisms. GM crops may harm helpful insects like bees and other beneficial species. This can affect pollination and natural pest control. So, as we all know, GM crops made to kill harmful insects may also affect helpful insects, such as bees and butterflies. These insects are important for pollination, which help plants produce fruits and seeds. If pollinators are harmed, it can reduce food production and affect the health of the ecosystem. And last is the effects on soil and water. GM crops can change soil microorganisms and water quality. This may cause long-term environmental damage. Healthy soil contains microorganisms that helps plants grow by breaking down nutrients. Some GM crops or the chemicals used with them may affect these microorganisms. In addition, herbicides can wash into rivers and lakes through rainwater, which may harm fish and other aquatic life. And now let's go on to the potential human health risk caused by GMOs. First is the allergic reactions. GMOs can add new proteins to food. Sometimes, these new proteins might cause allergies in some people. For example, if gene from a food that commonly causes allergy is added to another crop, people who are allergic might react to it. That's why scientists test GM foods carefully before they are sold. Next is antibiotic resistance. Some GM plants use special genes that are resistant to antibiotics. There is a small concern that these genes could pass to bacteria inside the human body. If that happens, some antibiotics might not work as well when a person is sick. However, this risk is considered very low, is closely monitored. Next is toxicity. Some GM crops are made to produce substances that kill insects, like Bt toxin. The concern is whether these substances could also harm humans. Before approval, these crops go through many safety tests to make sure that they are not toxic to people. So before releasing the product or the crops, they made a test to make sure that these crops will not be harmful to humans. Next is immune system effects. The immune system protects our body from diseases. Some people worry that GM foods might affect how immune system works, possibly causing inflammation or unusual reactions. Scientists are still studying this to fully understand if there are still any real risk about it. Last is nutritional changes. Genetic modification can sometimes change the amount of vitamins, minerals, or other nutrients in food. This could affect people who eat that food regularly. Because of this, scientists check the nutritional content to make sure it is still healthy and safe.
Let's proceed to the effects of genetically modified organisms on human health and on environment. Effects of GMO on human health. First is improved nutrition. GMOs can enhance the nutritional content of crops, addressing micronutrient deficiencies. So it means that some GMOs are made to have more nutrients, more vitamins and minerals than normal crops. So this helps people who do not get enough nutrients on their food. So say for example, some rice like golden rice is changed to contain vitamin A, which helps keep our eyes healthy and prevent sickness from vitamin lack, so people get healthier foods. And this is what golden rice looks like. Second is reduced toxin exposure. Some GMO are designed to be pest resistant, reducing the needs for chemical pesticides. This can lead to lower exposure to pesticide residues in foods, so it means that some GMOs plants can fight insects by themselves, so farmers use less chemical spray. Because of this, there is fewer harmful chemicals left on the food we eat. That means cleaner food. Third is increased food availability. GMOs can improve crop yields and resilience, helping to ensure food security and especially in areas with limited resources. So it means that GMO can grow faster, grow bigger, and survive drought or disease better than normal plants. This means more food is produced, especially in poor or dry places. So more food equals fewer people go hungry. Last is reduced allergy risk. Some GMOs are engineered to reduce allergenicity, making food safer for people with allergies. So it means that some GMOs are made to remove parts of food that causes allergies. This makes food safer for people who easily get allergy reactions. So instead of getting sick, they can eat without fear. Next is the effect of GMO on environment. So first, reduce pesticide use. GMOs like Bt cotton or Bacillus thuringiensis and Bt corn produces insect-resistant toxins, reducing the need for chemical pesticides. This leads to less environmental contamination and harm to beneficial insects. Reduced pesticides use also protects water resources and soil health. Some GMO plants can protect themselves from insects. Farmers don't need to spray as many chemicals. This means less poison in the air, soil, and water. It also helps good insects like bees and butterflies stay alive. So this is the example of Bt cotton and Bt corn. Second is conservation of resources. Drought-tolerant GMOs can help reduce water usage and minimize soil erosion. This contributes to more efficient farming practices and conservation of natural resources. GMOs can also reduce the need for deforestation and habitat destructions. So some GMOs can grow even with a little water and poor soil. This helps farmers save water and prevent soil from washing away. Because poor crops grow better, farmers don't need to cut down more forest and land. Nature stays safe. Last is climate change mitigation. GMOs can contribute to climate change mitigation by improving crop efficiency and reducing farming-related emissions. This can lead to a more sustainable agriculture sector. By increasing crop yields, GMOs can also reduce pressure on natural ecosystem. So it means GMO can help farm produce more food using less land, fuel, and chemicals. This lower pollution from farming and helps slow down chemical change. With less pollution, earth warms more slowly, which help fight chemical change.